Hey guys, welcome back to Culture Cantina. I'm one of your hosts, Rocky Kari.
And I'm Shrikari.
And today we are reviewing The Last of Us 2.
So this is actually our first video game review. Obviously we do anything from movies, TV, anything, entertainment related. But this is actually our first video game review, so we're really excited about doing this today.
Just a little bit of context. The Last of Us 1 is one of our favorite games of all time. Not just on the PS3, but literally of any game. We had ended up playing it together, just switching off between certain segments of the game.
2013, right?
2013,
yeah.
Yep. And we absolutely loved it. So we were super anticipating this new game.
And it was crazy because we really didn't know if there would be a sequel to The Last of Us, and then they announced they were going to do one, and then 2016, 4 years ago, we got the first trailer.
So cool.
Gave us no context of what it was going to be about. But finally, 7 years after the first one, we have The Last of Us Part 2 by Naughty Dog.
So first we'll do our spoiler-free talks, and then right after that we'll go right into our spoiler review for those of you who have already played the game and want to hear our thoughts. So for spoiler-free, I love this game. I think the presentation is just 10 out of 10. Naughty Dog really hit it out of the park with how the characters look, the music, just everything in terms of what you hear and what you see. Gameplay, I feel that it was a step above the original. You know the saying, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? I feel like that's what it is with The Last of Us. The Last of Us 1 was so tightly perfect with its gameplay and its survival gameplay. I think that this one just perfected it, and we'll get into more of what I mean by in the spoiler talk. But when it comes to the story, that's where I feel a lot of people can divulge. I like the story. I think the way that it's able to tell its story while shifting through different time periods is awesome. But I can see why certain narrative choices can make people frustrated, us included in some places, which we'll go into again. So overall, I love this game, but there are certain flaws with it that I really understand.
I would say I really enjoyed playing The Last of Us Part 2. I think visually, The Last of Us, one thing that really captured me about it was its visual aspects. And this game delivers. It is just beautifully made. It feels so real and so raw. And just huge shout out to the visual effects team and everyone at Naughty Dog who worked on this game. They did a phenomenal job of it. I would agree that the gameplay, it's very, very similar to The Last of Us. The first Last of Us, again, the survival aspect, action sequences, and then even just scavenging for parts. That was great, and it was great to have that again in The Last of Us Part 2. So I enjoyed the gameplay. It did kind of feel a little bit monotonous at times because I feel a lot of us are kind of OCD about, we want to find everything possible, and we can't leave a room unless we check everything. We want to make sure you get everything. So that kind of extends the game, and it kind of gets old really, not quickly, but it's still very exciting to find things. So that was one thing that maybe, there was a lot of that, so maybe they could have reduced that. In terms of the story, it moves around a lot and it plays with the timeline. You're constantly jumping in different parts of the story, and that was really unique and different. I did like it. I really think it's very hard to do that, and I think they executed it well. And again, the characters of Ellie, Joel, and then even new characters that we'll get into in our spoiler review that get brought into the story and you play as, I did like their arcs, and I think that they really had a lot of good messages and were very, very intense. One gripe is that it did feel very long. The game is, it took us, I think our gameplay time was 30 hours.
30 hours.
It took us a month. I know there's people who probably just finished in a few days, they just grinded. That's awesome.
And what sucked was that we had to make sure we were together to play the game.
Yes.
We weren't like, oh, I'll play a little bit while you're away. No, we had to be together for it.
Yeah.
So that, it ended up being only a few times a week we were able to play sessions.
I feel if we were together, we could have really focused. I feel it would have been a lot shorter.
Yeah, because 30 hours,
But still, 30 hours is a lot. And
it was a lot.
I think it really could have been a little shorter. Even the ending, it did kind of drag on. I think that could have been shorter. But again, I really enjoyed it. I think it was a big task that Naughty Dog and the team there in The Last of Us Part 2 they had to do here. And I think the characters are great. I think the visuals are fantastic. It's real. It's raw. Great messages throughout. And yeah, overall, I really like The Last of Us Part 2.
I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I think it's a great game, but I feel that there were certain pieces that could have made it amazing, but kind of dragged it down in terms of, like you said, with the ending being overstaying its welcome, and certain choices with the story. But for me, I'm going to give it an 8 because it's still so much fun, very emotional game, and yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to actually give this game a 7.5 out of 10. Again, I really liked it. It was really fun. I definitely enjoyed playing it with you, and we had a really fun time with it. Again, there were some gripes, just kind of how long it was, some of the choices they made, some of it felt pretty repetitive. But again, X that out, it's a beautiful story. I think they did a fantastic job. I mean, Last of Us, that's a 10 out of 10.
That's a 10
the first
out of
game
10,
was a
yeah.
10 out of 10. My God.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so, and because it's just new. And like, again, this kind of felt a little bit the same, which is fine. It's, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it was still a really good time, and I would give it a 7.5 out of 10.
So now we're going to get into our thoughts on the spoilers of the game. And first off, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, Joel dying.
Yeah.
It was very sad because, I know, dang. It was very sad because for us, Joel was one of the best characters.
He's the main character.
He's the main character of the first game, and he's just so well written, and even though he's not perfect, you grew to understand him over the first game. And so, I understand what they did for killing him, because it really drives the plot and you feel just like Ellie feels. But the frustration that people feel for Joel dying, I was okay with it. Like, I mean, I felt really sad, but I liked that it was taking Last of Us in a new direction. But the people who are frustrated with it, like, I 110% completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. I mean, I think the moment itself, it was so unexpected. And the actual, like, the scene of him and the murder by Abby, it felt really real.
Yeah.
And it was very emotional.
Very scary, yeah.
I was tearing up during it, because I was like, you literally play as this guy in the first game, and you're like just seeing him be massacred in front of Ellie's eyes. Like, it's so sad. So like at the moment, it was really intense, and I it was
like
well done.
The filmmaking of it. Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's not even.
It's not even a film.
This game series, it feels real, but like the moment itself, well done.
Yeah.
Execution was great. Now, taking a step back and reflecting, was it the right decision? I'm not gonna say it was bad. I think, knowing where the story goes, I think they executed it well. Yeah. I agree with you that I totally understand fans being angry with it. How could you kill the main character of the first game? Literally pretty soon, within a couple hours, not even.
I think it was like an hour,
of the second game.
Yeah.
And that I think was a gripe, because I wish we played a little bit more as Joel. I don't even think you play as Joel. Like, maybe just like
very briefly.
Very little. That was one gripe. I wish we played a little bit more with Joel in this game, as Joel in this game. So that was one of my gripes, but again, it was really intense. It was sad. I felt bad for Ellie, and I think it speaks to her character, because this is kind of, in a way, a revenge plot, or revenge story. We later find out that she finds out Joel killed all the Fireflies to save Ellie, and she was like, how could you do this? And it's crazy that she still has that animosity towards Joel, but she's still so set on getting revenge and, like, avenging his death, which is just crazy.
Because at the end of the day, she still loves him.
Yeah.
It's like, she's mad, but that love isn't going to go away.
Right. It's a father-daughter love. Like, and, like, someone with a bigger brother. Like, so many kinds of different types of love in that relationship that it's so deep and so raw, and it was a really intense scene, and it was sad to see Joel go like that.
The next part I wanted to talk about was Abby.
Yeah.
So Abby is the one that kills Joel. And at first, me and you were just like, screw Abby. Like, I want to destroy her. But when at the halfway point when it switches, that was when I was like, okay, this game
switches from Ellie's
perspective
to Abby. Yeah.
This game could go really well or just crash and burn. And I think for some people it does crash and burn. But for me, I think it just soars by doing that, because making me care about Abby, even Lev too, the way that they're able to show Abby and Lev's characters, it was just so beautiful how you over time grew to love them. And I just, that was a part of the game that I really think shouldn't be understated, at how they took a character that you automatically hate at the beginning, but really made you care and like her by the end. Some people still don't, but for us, I think it worked for us.
Right. Because you play as Abby a little bit, and then it's the murder of Joel, and then I was the same way. I'm like, Ellie, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, we're going. Let's get our revenge. We're avenging Joel's death. Like, let's go. We're gonna get her. But then like, you're there, you're about to, and then it's that big climax where she's holding Tommy down, and like Ellie is like, oh my god, and then she's like, you killed all my friends, and you just go on this just murder spree, killing all her friends, and like. But you want to, like, it's crazy because you
feel sick. You're like, I don't want to go this far.
Yeah, but like you feel bad for her and you want to avenge Joel's death, and then like it makes the switch, and I was very critical about that switch. I was like, I don't like this. I don't want to play.
You were on the other side.
Yeah, I was at first.
I was
like, I do not want to play as Abby. I was tempted to just give you the controller. Dude, you play it. Until we get back to Ellie, I'll start playing. But like, I did not want to play as her. But I appreciate the game because it really humanized her, and it made a villain kind of you empathize with her, because then you see her relationships with all these people who she sees as her family. We see the reason why she killed Joel, because he was the one who killed her father, who was the surgeon who could have done the surgery to get the cure. You really empathize with her because her dad dies, she's alone, and now she has all these friends. It's like it's her family now, and now Ellie is taking them away from her. And then it was her decision to betray the WLF to save Lev. You're like, wow. Because that's the same thing that Joel did in game 1. In the first game, he betrayed the Fireflies, he betrayed humanity to save Ellie.
Someone he loved.
And that's the exact same thing that Abby did. So I really, really appreciated that the game made us empathize with the person we thought was the villain. And then when we get to the end, I still was conflicting fighting against, because you're playing as Abby and you're fighting against Ellie. But still, I was very torn, and it's just crazy how the game can play with your emotions like that. So I did at first I was very critical of the time skips. Again, I think they did a great job of managing it. And in the end, it did make me empathize with the character of Abby, and I did like the direction that they went with it.
One serious gripe I have with the story is how much they really shaft Ellie in terms of she doesn't get her revenge, she loses Dina, she can't even play the guitar anymore. I just feel so bad because we all love Ellie. Ellie is such an incredible character, and to see her at rock bottom at the end of the game, I thought that was a little crappy for Naughty Dog to do that. I feel like the game should have ended when you first get to the farm, with Dina and the baby, because I think that's her having PTSD, keeping the PTSD, because I think that's very real.
Yeah.
So she has problems, but that she can live past
She has
it.
Dina there. She has her true child, adopted child, that she can they can be there for her, and she can have this new life and be happy.
Yeah.
But no,
yeah.
it still haunts her.
So and I think having the conclusion with Abby and Lev going to the new Fireflies was cool.
Yeah, I did like that. Yeah. So, I think you make a great point about the ending. Again, I did think that it was really drawn out.
That's what,
Yeah, it just kept cutting to black, and you're like, is this the end? Is this the end? Wait, is this the end? And then finally it ends. But I think the message of the game is forgiveness. And I think that's the big takeaway that I had was it took a lot for Abby to forgive Ellie, and it took a lot for Ellie to forgive Abby at the very end, when she literally could have killed her at the end there, but decided no. And again, I would agree that I wish the game did kind of end at the farm. She's with Dina, she's with her child, she has her own home, they're peaceful, they're happy, but no, she just, and I think this just goes to show how much a human could just feel so much animosity and just so much PTSD from such a traumatizing event that you just can't deal with it, and you just need to go on your own and make your own decisions. I do think she did get shafted. I did feel bad for her at the end, but yeah, I mean, again, it's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough. It's a crazy story. It went all over the place. Again, I enjoyed it. I had a fun time playing this game. It hits on a lot of social issues that are prevalent today. It hits on a lot of just us as human beings that are important today. Ethical, yes or no, is this right or wrong? Forgiveness, like I mentioned. Again, the game it hits on a lot of these themes, and I think a game that can do that in such a great way should be applauded. I think there will be a part 3.
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah, of course. This is one of the best-selling franchises, of course.
Yeah.
But what it will be on, who knows?
Yeah.
Also, the boss battle with the Rat King, that was cool. That was my favorite part gameplay-wise. That was so cool. There needed to be more of that.
Yeah. Probably my gameplay moment was definitely the boss battle with Ellie.
Yeah.
Because it's stealth. It's and it's so challenging.
It was
we
hard.
play on the normal difficulty. I can't even imagine
Grounded, the hardest.
Oh my gosh, it was intense and crazy.
But thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content, and we will see you guys very soon. Take care.
Thanks again. Take care.